Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Fort Myers. Inspired by love, we transform ourselves and serve others. My name is Lesley Peterson, and it's my privilege to serve as the Vice President for Worship and a Worship Associate for this congregation. This morning, I was looking forward to sharing the chancel with Reverend Dr. Barrion Staples and his wife, Reverend Jennifer Staples. Reverend Dr. Staples is a product of the Civil Rights Movement and participated in activities that promoted the principles of that era. Reverend Dr. Staples has more than 40 years of experience in teaching and training in the areas of cultural competency, race and ethnic relations, multiculturalism, diversity, and human relations. This experience consists of populations at the college-university level, as well as the K-12 educational settings. The philosophy of Dr. Reverend Staples is echoed in the quote by the late Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., "Judge a man by the color of his skin, but not by the content of his character." I was so looking forward to hearing them sharing their words with us this morning, as there's so much that they have to teach us. Unfortunately, both the Reverend Staples are ill and unable to be with us. They are at home recovering from COVID. I wish them a swift recovery and hope that we're able to have them share their message again with us soon in the future. Also joining us this morning is our Director of Music, John Dalton, and our choir. I'd also like to give thanks to our amazing tech team who makes it possible for us to participate together in this hybrid worship service. And I want to give my special heartfelt thanks to them, especially today, because of them having to adjust at the last minute to changes that are going to be necessary for today's worship service. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. Today, our service theme will center around the concept of love and sowing seeds for the new year. While we await a future time for the Reverend Staples to join us, as originally intended, we will explore pieces from a collection provided by the UUA entitled Seeds for the New Year. These works ask us to examine the following questions. What seeds are you planting for the new year? How are you weaving your magic into your relationships with others? How can we center beauty and goodness and love in all that's ahead? And so let us open our minds and hearts as we reflect on all the ways in which we can plant wholesome seeds, building bridges, and encourage love to manifest in our lives. Here at UUCFM, one of the ways that we seek to grow in love is by fostering a climate of purposeful inclusion and safety of all people, regardless of race, ethnicity, age, ability, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, spiritual path, or national origin. Lee County and our beautiful campus sit on land originally occupied by the Calusa tribe. We honor them as well as the Miccosukee and Seminole who continue to care for South Florida lands. I'd like to extend a special welcome to our guests this morning. If you have filled out a connection card in the narthex, please place it in the bags that the greeters will be passing during the offertory. If you're joining us online, I'd like to invite you to complete a connection card. The link is in the chat box. The most important gift that you can give us is a chance to get to know you. Members may use the card for a change in contact information or a caring concern you'd like the pastoral care associates to address. If you are attending by Zoom, please keep your microphone muted and refrain from placing messages in the chat window unless you are asked to do so. And now, let us begin our service. Our call to worship is by Adrienne Maree Brown. and it's entitled Human's Core Function is Love. When we are engaged in acts of love, we humans are at our best and most resilient. The love in romance that makes us want to be better people, the love of children that makes us change our whole lives to meet their needs, the love of family that makes us drop everything to take care of them, the love of community that makes us work tirelessly with broken hearts. Perhaps humans' core function is love. Love leads us to observe in a much deeper way than any other emotion. If love were the central practice of a new generation of organizers and spiritual leaders, it would have a massive impact. If the goal was to increase the love, rather than winning or dominating a constant opponent, I think we could actually imagine liberation from constant oppression. We would suddenly be seeing everything we do, everyone we meet, not through the tactical eyes of war, but through eyes of love. We would see that there's no such thing as a blank canvas, an empty land, or a new idea. But everywhere there is complex, ancient, fertile ground full of potential. We would understand that the strength of our movement is in the strength of our relationships, which could only be measured by their depth. Scaling up would mean going deeper, being more vulnerable, and more empathetic. And so as we reflect upon these words, we will light our chalice as Unitarian Universalist congregations do every Sunday morning from around the world. Lesley Gatto will light our chalice, and we will hear words from Tyler Coles with the UUA.
What is going on?
Something wrong.
It's just the no sound. Don't have any idea what's wrong. Muting.
And please remain standing afterwards as we sing together our opening hymn. Love is the spirit of this congregation, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Our opening hymn is number 34, Though I May Speak with Bravest Fire. And now we will share together a story for all ages. And this is entitled Bridge of Flowers by Lakshmi, Piepzna-Samarasinha. I apologize, I did my best.
Our story today is adapted from one of my favorite authors, Lakshmi Piepzna-Samarasinha, and it is called The Bridge of Flowers. Now I need you to know that this story is told in the voice of a young girl who loves her family very much. Here we go. I am quiet and I listen a lot, and that's why I get to tell this story. So here's what happened. My mom, Sofía, is a witch. And that means that she listens to people talk and she makes potions for them out of flowers and dirt and rocks and sometimes even spit to help them with their problems. My Papa, Kamau, is a scientist, and they spend a lot of their time looking at tiny pieces of moss under lots of different microscopes. When Mom and Papa fell in love, they planted 2 trees, close enough together that they could be near each other, but far enough apart to have room to grow. So Mom cast a spell, and Papa settled down lots of fertilizer, and the 2 trees grew quickly and really, really tall. Now, Mom and Papa really love each other. They don't always love living together. Right, Sofía has a tendency to leave crystals and lipstick and bacon grease everywhere, and Papa likes clean counters so that the bacon grease doesn't end up in their experiments. They fight about this sometimes. Sofía thinks that bacon grease and crystals and lipstick are part of the magic. Papa says clean counters are magical too. So eventually, Sofía and Kamau decided to live close together, but also apart. And they built houses, tree houses, in those very same trees that they planted when they fell in love. And most importantly, between the 2 houses, they wove a bridge of flowers so you could get back and forth whenever you wanted to. That bridge had roses and sunflowers. It had little yellow flowers whose names I don't remember. It had cactuses, one of which was the parent of my own personal cactus, Agnes, You'll hear more about her later. It was a beautiful bridge, and it allowed us to go back and forth whenever we wanted to see each other. Now, my sibling Kumar, after a while, added a skateboarding ramp to the bridge. They would go to the bridge, do an ollie, land on the ramp, go around and do the whole thing again. It kept our family woven together. Me, I stay inside often, and I journal, and I'm quiet. Sometimes outside is just too much, but late at night, when the whole world is listening, I like to sit in the middle of the bridge and breathe. Now, one day, times got really stressful in the world, and Mom tried to help more and more people, and she picked more and more flowers from the bridge for her potions. And Bappa, they were doing more work to try to clean the air, and they took more mosses and lichens from the bridge. They did this work to support the community, and they picked more flowers and more mosses and more lichens. And one morning, when we went outside, we saw that they had picked too much, and the bridge had collapsed. Mom and Bappa started fighting about whose fault it was. We just don't have time to deal with this. And they went back to work. This is something parents do sometimes when they're stressed. But Kumar and I didn't think this was okay. Some members of the community suggested that we didn't need a bridge. After all, Soraya had a ramp, Kamau had an elevator. It wasn't as if we couldn't get to each other. But Kumar and I liked the ease of back and forth. What if I left Agnes in the wrong house? What if Kumar needed their backpack? We decided something had to be done. Now, I don't always get along with my sibling, but we talked about it and we strategized and we came up with an idea. So I went to Mom's cabinet, you know, the one she doesn't lock because she trusts us. I took some of her magical honey and her special dirt and seeds, and Kumar took lichens and mosses from Bappa's lab. And we came and we brought our hands together and we thought about what we most wanted. We closed our eyes and we wished for that to come back into being. When we opened our eyes, the bridge was back, but it didn't just connect our houses. It connected our houses and our libraries and the place where Soraya and Kamau go for organizing meetings. It connected us to the shelter and the food bank and all around the community. And the bridge was beautiful. So we went to wake up Soraya and Kamau to show them what we had done, but they were already awake. They were up late, working on saving the world. But they came outside with us and saw the bridge, and it was good. So it turns out that I have magic too, even though I'm quiet. Or maybe because I'm quiet, I have magic. And it's good to live with people you love and to sometimes have enough space for yourself and for growth. And the truth is that sometimes when we least know what we're doing, it's when we are at our most magical. And that is the end of our story.
And now, as we continue with our exploration of the theme of love, I'd like to invite you to join with me in a responsive reading. This is by Julia Corbett-Hemeyer, called We Answer the Call of Love. In the face of hate, we answer the call of love. In the face of exclusion, we answer the call of inclusion. In the face of homophobia, we answer the call of LGBTQ rights. In the face of racism, we answer the call of justice for all races. In the face of xenophobia, we answer the call of pluralism. In the face of misogyny, we answer the call of women's rights. In the face of demagoguery, we answer the call of reason. In the face of religious intolerance, we answer the call of diversity. In the face of narrow nationalism, we answer the call of global community. In the face of bigotry, we answer the call of open-mindedness. In the face of despair, we answer the call of hope. As Unitarian Universalists, we answer the call of love, now more than ever. Every Sunday, we have a ceremony that we participate in the sanctuary called our Stones of Intention. If you have a stone with you this morning, I invite you to hold it in your hand, close to your heart. During the musical meditation, come forward to place your stone in the bowls with others to symbolize your intentions, reflections, prayers, joys, sorrows, or milestones in your life. If you have not already brought a stone with you into the sanctuary, you may choose one from the baskets next to the bowls of sand. For those of you joining us on Zoom or listening to the audio stream, you may also place a virtual stone of intention by clicking the green button on our church's website's weekly order of worship. The direct link will be provided in the Zoom chat box. If you wish, you may include your thoughts and intentions in the Zoom chat box. Remember, whether you are here with us in the sanctuary or are attending virtually, we are all participating in community with each other. And now, let us begin. And now I will place 3 final stones. The first stone I would like to place is for peace and healing throughout a world that's in desperate need of it. The next stone I place for Reverend Barry Staple and his wife, Reverend Jennifer Staple, for healing, and for all who are sick and ailing and are in need of healing. We carry you within our thoughts. And I place one final stone for all that remains in our hearts, but is left unsaid. Amen, Ashe, and blessed be. And now I invite you to remain seated as we join together in singing hymn number 325, Love Makes a Bridge. And now our sermon is brought to us by Reverend Dr. Sofía Betancourt, the president of the UUA, and it's entitled Seeds for the New Year.
My beloved housemate and chosen family, the Reverend Dr. Devorah Greenstein, has been excited about winter sowing lately. This is the practice of starting seeds outdoors in the winter months, long before most of us think about planting gardens. It's a fairly simple and practical idea. Most gardeners save plastic containers from around the house that we might otherwise recycle, and we prepare them with soil and seeds and lids so they can protect the potential that they house through the coldest months of the year. Why do we do this? Couldn't we look at beautiful pictures and seed catalogs instead and dream of all that we might plant in the spring months? I know that that has long been my personal practice. Why would we follow what for some of us are the winter holidays by tucking tiny kernels of life into unlikely spaces? I've decided to embrace this idea of setting seed long before signs of life will be visible as a type of leaning in to the new year. How many of us, like me, have gotten into a habit of disparagement at the year's turning? I remember holiday ornaments in 2020 that had language I probably shouldn't repeat in the pulpit without good cause, woven into these beautiful snowflakes. I think we still have a small plastic dumpster with flames coming out of the top as a representation of our disparagement and dismay with the year prior. I can't remember if it was 21 or 22. Politics, pandemics, and ideologies have turned what I used to associate with fireworks and other festive celebrations into a kind of creative dismissal of all that has come to pass in the prior 12 months. Don't misunderstand me. I fully embrace the power of humor that allows us to laugh our way closer to hopefulness and possibility. We need more of that. And I'm not here to censor how we keep ourselves going in difficult times. But as often happens in my life, I can hear the echoes of my grandmother's teachings when I get a little too comfortable in how I process all the things. She used to teach me about the magic at the turning of the year, and she encouraged me to do whatever thing I most want to spend my time on or have shape the year to come, just as the clock strikes midnight on December 31st. I think this is related to that tradition of kissing a loved one right at the end of the countdown. Her encouragement reminds me that even in those most difficult years of active quarantine in the face of this ongoing pandemic, there were beautiful things to be proud of that didn't belong in the dumpster fire, for all that it made us laugh in those isolating days. A lot of that pride for me was grounded in the ways that our congregations and communities showed up for one another, showed up for the work of justice. It was grounded in my gratitude for our religious professionals, for our lay leaders and our national UUA staff as they pivoted and resourced and supported us through the unknown. Most are still recovering from that nonstop labor. Beloveds, we leaned into community care in profound ways, and I am so proud of how we continue to do so, even as many of us, though not all of us, experience fewer restrictions in our activities than we did then. We built magical bridges, the very kinds of connections and interdependence that we continue to live into together in new ways. Those bridges between and among us require tending, as does the religious witness that we hold together in the world in common cause. In the story that I shared for today's service, we learned about a family negotiating their relationships to one another in their day-to-day living. In The Bridge of Flowers by Lakshmi Piepzna-Samarasinha, she invites us to consider the beauty in how we intentionally maintain our connections to each other and invest in bringing our values to bear in the world. This unique bridge connecting people across love, across differences in how they approach everyday life, their belief systems, and community engagement, still allows for the creation of beauty and magic, as beauty and science and magic weave together a path that can be navigated by everyone. It keeps them connected to their children, to their people, keeps them connected even when stress seems to rob them of their joy. I probably don't need to remind you that when times were difficult and two people who loved one another profoundly gave more than they could sustainably give to maintain and support their surrounding communities, the Bridge of Flowers collapsed. Not only did it collapse, but some outside of their nuclear family discouraged them from rebuilding the bridge. Soraya had a ramp after all, and Kamau had an elevator. It wasn't as if they could no longer reach each other with enough effort, but the love at the center of their living space was missing, and it took beauty and magic from unexpected places to reweave the interdependence that had long nurtured that family. I can imagine my grandmother telling those children to hold the seeds and the dirt and the honey and the spores together at midnight at the turning of the year. Of course, we still have time to set intentions or to weave magic for 2024, and the purposeful naming of what we most long to turn our focus toward feels important in this story. What are you most proud about from 2023? In what ways did your congregation or community encourage you to live more fully into all that you hold most precious in this past year? How did they surprise you? How did you surprise yourself? Imagine that the great potential of our liberal and liberating tradition could be nurtured through the coming months in something as simple as a reused gallon jug. Maybe there is soil in the surrounding area that is already adapted to the climate where you live, or maybe you have collected seeds from plants that have grown more savvy about their surroundings over the years. I believe that our Unitarian Universalist faith is uniquely suited to the work of justice, to showing up for the rights and freedom of all. We have everything we need to respond to these times, even in moments of devastation or fear, even when bombs fall, even when ideologies of hatred and separation are lauded around the nation, even when the bridge that holds our hopes and dreams manages somehow to fall. There is a power and a hopefulness in how each one of us can set our intentions for the coming year and not wait on sun or birdsong or better weather to do the work of new growth. Right? Earth itself can cradle our dreaming as we gear up for all that is yet to come. To put those kinds of efforts at faithful living into another kind of theological context, I want to remind us of the writings of the Reverend Kenneth Patton on the Temple of Beauty. I consider Patton one of our modern Universalist theologians whose draw to universal religion was such that he theorized the idea of a religion for one world, and he worked to bring it into being at the Charles Street Meeting House in Boston. This was Patton's commitment, the seeds he planted into the great potential of our faith. For Patton, universalism needed to be expanded. It needed to be made large enough to become an expression that included a universal humanity, universal peace, universal welfare, universal health, universal freedom, universal security, universal science and understanding. I can imagine him reweaving a bridge of flowers with these words from his 1964 book, A Religion for One World, where in trying to describe for us how we might learn to live together in community with all of humankind, he writes, "This is one world. You are one humanity. Live therefore in peace and till the garden of the earth. Make your days and the years of your children a glad time upon the earth." Patton believed that religion, when drawn beyond the bounds of any one culture, any one expression, or any one group of people, contained within it the possibility of bringing into being all that is most right in the world. So here, goodness, freedom, justice, understanding, kindness, consideration, and the dismantling of discrimination and prejudice all reach their most noble, compassionate, and complete dignity, grace, and power. It's a lot to expect from one universal tradition. But Patton believed that the potential for this possibility lay within reach, if only we could learn and find good ways to describe it and to teach ourselves how to recognize it in its echoes through human art and human culture. Now, I know that we have learned a great deal about the dangers of trying to define one big T truth that is available for all people. Right? It's not the availability that is the issue. It's the likelihood that one dominant group's perspective will be elevated as the ultimate goal to the erasure of all other cultural and communal expressions. That is not what Patton is calling for. But still we know, right, to hold ourselves accountable to the impact of power in those scenarios. But what I most want to hold on to from Patton's thinking is the very practical idea that liberals need good language and ideals to describe the things that we most long to bring into being. Our very pluralistic approach to Unitarian Universalism can make agreeing on shared language difficult, and without it, it's hard to collaborate with one another or to hold on to all that we hold dear. For Patton, the highest ideal that we can strive for in all of our efforts is beauty. I don't think he meant that in a temporary or frivolous or vain kind of a way. He writes that unlike goodness or truth, words that we often lift as ideals in our tradition, beauty includes the highest expression of our values. Right? He argues that there can be truth that is not beautiful, goodness that is not beautiful, but that beauty as its core is both truthful and good. And he reminds us that every expression of beauty born of our human interconnections serves as a kind of prophetic witness to what might best heal this world. Patton calls us to build temples of beauty. For me, those would probably take the form of gardens, and to fill them with everything that will preach our greatest ideals on our behalf. So what beauty do you most want to call into being in 2024? How are your congregations and your communities leaning into all that is most needed in this coming year? How are you helping to keep those bridges well tended? From the perspective that I am privileged to hold as the president of your Unitarian Universalist Association, I can tell you that there is already a lot to be proud of in our efforts in community. I hear from our field staff that care for each other far beyond the bounds and the limits of Unitarian Universalism remains the bedrock of this faith. I hear from our organizing strategy team again and again as they work with partner organizations around the country that they are thanked for the ways that UUs serve as the dependable core of volunteer efforts for justice in their communities. I get to witness the ways in which our national level volunteers all across our tradition give their very best to keeping the values and the ideals of Unitarian Universalism alive in the world. And sometimes I get to sit with a few of you in small groups where I'm told again and again how this faith saves lives. Beloveds, I'm not here to tell you what seeds to plant in the coming year. I can tell you some of mine. In this shared ministry and with the wisdom of so many others by my side, I am tucking the seeds of climate justice into my winter sowing this year. Alongside it go the seeds of democratic strategy, bodily autonomy, and decriminalization. With your dedicated national staff, I get to plant seeds of accountability in ministry and congregational life, seeds of leadership development, resource production, ministry with youth and families, and greater equity among our religious professionals writ large. Together, we will continue to sow seeds that protect the most vulnerable among us, and together we will UU the vote again in this coming year. The garden of my dreams is born of the great potential that I know lives at the heart of this faith, and the love that we call into being at the center of it all is more than enough to help our dreaming bear fruit. Loves, these have been challenging times, and the beauty that we bring into being together will be enough. May 2024 shower you in blessings, and may you in turn take those blessings and share them in the world. Thank you for all that you are and for all that you will yet do. May it be so. Amen. Ashe, and blessed be.
As we think about ways to share our love and to share our spiritual values, one of the ways that we do so is by making them real through the form of financial contribution. I invite you to enliven your commitment to this community and be generous to supporting the work of this congregation. And as we looked in our story this morning and in Reverend Betancourt's words about building bridges, one of the ways that we build bridges within our community is through our sharing with community partners. We donate funds to a community organization in Lee County, and this month our community sharing partner is ACT, Abuse, Counseling, and Treatment. ACT offers a 24-hour helpline, 3 safe shelters, children's program, counseling, both individual and group, an economic empowerment program, which includes financial and health literacy, injunction for protection legal service, life skills education, job skills evaluation, and training, along with GED assistance and ESOL. In the non-residential outreach program, they provide long-term counseling, therapy and support, economic empowerment services, a rape crisis center where they do the forensic examinations, advocacy department that provides advocacy through the judicial system, and a legal program for injunctions for protection. They also provide community education, professional trainings, and prevention education. All services provided to victims of domestic violence and their children, and survivors of sexual assault, dating violence, stalking, and human trafficking are available free of charge. When you make out your offering, if you designate that you wish for this to go to your pledge, then please make a memo in your check or on your online offering or on the envelope with your offering. All undesignated funds will go to our community sharing partner. An online connection card will be placed, the link for that will be placed in the chat box. And now our offering will be generously given and gratefully received.
Shine on me. Please rise in body or spirit as we receive the morning offering. By the work of our hands and the work of our hearts, our love is made real. May we be grateful for all that is given and grateful for all that is shared.
And now, we extinguish the flame of this chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. And now we will listen to some closing words by Kathy McGowan.
As we go forward from here, may we be ever open to the beauty that is all around us. May we remember that the mighty oak can be found in the smallest acorn, and may we find hope where there appears none. This is part of life's magic that is all around us. May we find strength by having faith that we are surrounded by beauty, oneness, love, connection, and the magic that is life. Let this connectedness carry us into our next becoming. Keep love and hope alive.
Now I invite you once more to rise in body or spirit as we sing our closing hymn, number 95, There is More Love Somewhere. Keep that love in our hearts as we go forth from this service. Let us hold the Reverend Dr. Staples in our hearts as they recover, and we wish to welcome them back to us again sometime in the near future. Please keep the love going in fellowship. Feel free to join us in Hobart Hall for coffee and conversation. If you're joining us on Zoom, please keep the conversation going there. May you all have a beautiful Sunday.